Okay, it is Ask Lee a Question Wednesday, or just Ask Lee Wednesday. Who knows? We'll figure out what to call it eventually. All right, so the question, or actually three questions in one, come from E. Rose. Are guardian demons an actual thing? If so, how would one identify them? And how would one know they are being drawn to work with demons? Now, there are many layers to this question slash answer. And I don't think we'll be able to discuss all of them. What I would suggest though is, looking through the videos on this channel pertaining to demonology, and also getting S. Connolly's, basically 101 book, the complete book of demonology, because that will give you a starting, bit of a starter to actually get you going and figure those things out. But to try and answer the question, the other aspect here comes in on how we actually or what we actually consider a demon to be. So, in demonology, a demon is considered to be a divine intelligence. So these are actually higher beings. So we class them with the gods, the goddesses, angels. In fact, all of those are divine intelligences. So we can actually say they are demons. And if we go into the origin of the word from the Greek and the Latin, it means tutelary spirit. So it's a spirit that's going to come along and teach you. We can also get into the Greek, which pertains a lot to your own personal demon. And this relates largely to the holy guardian angel that Crowley spoke of, which is found in ceremonial magic and such areas as that. We can equate it to the fetch mate, and there's lots and lots of overlaps, and there's lots and lots of ways to view these things, these topics, these words, and how we define them ourselves is what creates our own path. So coming to an understanding of what somebody else means when they talk about a particular thing or mention a particular word helps with communication, but how you define those things creates your own path. So in terms of are guardian demons an actual thing? Yes. If so, how would one identify them? When we look into traditional witchcraft and when we look into grimoires such as the Goetia, we encounter entities, spirits that we may call familiars or fetches. Now, again, very broad topic, and it can be broken into many areas. Our familiar or our fetch can be in reference to our own fetch beast, which is our own animal nature. So, if we can put it that way. But we can also look at a fetch being a spirit that is independent of us, but it helps us with magic. It can go fetch things. It can go spy on somebody. So this comes into, we can even create a fetch as a servitor. So there's, as I said, many layers to this. So it can get quite difficult to answer without writing an entire encyclopedia. But we do come across these familiars, and it's also mentioned in the Goetia. So if you go through the Goetia, you'll find there are some spirits which are or good or give good familiars, and in this aspect, a familiar would be kind of like part of the energy of that spirit, which is being given to you in order to work with you. Okay, so it stays with you. It helps you with your magic. It helps you with getting things, getting knowledge. It can act as a fetch. But you'll find often that these familiars are also guardian spirits. And demons themselves are actually guardian spirits. If you forge a very good relationship with a demon, then they're not going to want to see you hurt. So they are actually going to become guardian spirits, and they are going to protect you. But at the same time, they're also going to teach you how to protect yourself, which is the main thing. So they are very much in that vein of tutelary spirit. They, if you have a teacher in magic, the teacher right at the beginning will probably bring you into their own protective space, into their own protection, in order to guard you while you are learning and while you are gathering information. When you get to a certain level and you are able to do the protection yourself, and you may fall and fail a couple times, that's fine, that's part of learning. But once you are at that stage where you can do the protection yourself, then you are released from that protection and you are made or expected to do it yourself. So very much the same with the spirits. And the last question, how would one know they are being drawn to work with demons? Very personal. It's very difficult to say. There are... You might find a lot of people will say that a particular spirit, whether it's a god or a goddess or a demon or an angel, whatever it is, keeps popping up and incessantly keeps popping up and kind of going, I'm here, I'm waiting for you. And I did it myself with Hecate, and she kept popping up and going, I'm here, waiting, I'm patient, but I'm waiting. And I just kept ignoring it, pushing it away, and eventually I just gave in. So you might have a situation like that where over years, well, try not to make it years like I did. Let's say over a period of months, the spirit just keeps popping up, and kind of just incessantly popping up and making itself known to you. It's probably a spirit that wants to work with you. Because that spirit will know that there's a certain energy connection, a certain similarity with energy, and you can create a very good relationship with them. So there is that. Other than that, it's very difficult to actually say. I mean, some people will just pick a spirit and say, I'm working with you. And doesn't always mean that the spirit will want to work with them. And you'll find that out. And if that does happen, then just, try and work with another spirit. I always like to bring this back to comparing it to relationships we have with people. If you meet somebody and you just sort of like almost move into their house and they don't like it, they don't like your energy, they don't want you there, they don't want to work with you, they're going to tell you to go away. So even if you think that it may be a good relationship, it doesn't mean that it will be. So you just move on to the next one. It does sound a bit like, jumping from spirit to spirit, which is frowned upon and isn't a very good thing. But at the same time, if you're trying to find a spirit to actually create that relationship with, you've got to at least put your foot forward and try and start that relationship. If that relationship isn't going to work, you'll know. The spirit will make it clear. And so then you just stop trying to build a relationship. But it really is very similar to how we build relationships with people. So I hope that answers the question. I always say that. There's so much you can say about these. So many ways to answer the questions. So it gets a bit difficult sometimes. But I hope that helps, and I'm only going to do the one this week because I have two for next week, and the one's really, really short. So I'll do those two next week. If I get a lot of questions in the comments of this video, then I might start adding more in and doing longer videos. So if you have any questions, remember to ask them in the Ask Lee Wednesday comments, and I will include them on Wednesdays. All right. So have a fantastic one, and I'll see you tomorrow. Have a good one. Cheers. Bye-bye.